The Urban League has a new leader. Former City of St. Louis Alderman and license collector Michael McMillan was appointed president and CEO in August 2013. Today we're going to talk with him about his vision for the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis. Please stay with us next on City Corner. I'm Sarah Thompson, and welcome to City Corner. Today, I'm joined by Michael McMillan, former City of St. Louis Alderman and license collector, but now known as the president and CEO of the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
So I think congratulations is in order. I'm a little bit late to it, but congratulations to you on this new appointment. It's really fantastic.
Thank you. It's been a great experience, and I've had the pleasure of being involved with the Urban League for the past 27 years, and to come full circle and be president has been a phenomenal experience, and the best is yet to come for our affiliate.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking about in preparation for the show, there's so much that the Urban League does and where to start. And I was thinking about just myself, growing up, knowing about the Urban League, and then thinking to a certain extent about the disconnect somewhat that younger generations have. I mean, coming to this, you're someone who's relatively young, at a relatively young age. What do you think about that? I mean, in your position now?
Well, we serve 80,000 people throughout St. Louis City, St. Louis County, East St. Louis, and St. Clair County. But we want to make sure that we get our message out to a broader audience, that we get the information about our services out to the community and engage the community in new ways through social media, our website, and trying to make sure that we are relevant to a younger generation that did not necessarily grow up experiencing the services and understand the full complexity of what all we do. Let's say someone who's 17 years old, and we're going to get into some of the programs that the Urban League does, and I know there's Head Start and a lot of young people, but I mean, when you think of your average 17-year-old, let's say St. Louis and African-American from city or even the county, I mean, are they aware of the Urban League the same way that maybe I was or my mother was? I mean, what do you think is, again, back to this kind of disconnect, what do you think it is? Are they aware of those services? Do you think they are? We make the assumption that they are not aware. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to make sure that we get the information out to them in a way that they will understand. So our PR department and our PR committee have been working very diligently in the past 5 months to expand our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and other social media sites, and then improve our website on a regular basis so that we can be relevant to a younger generation. We just did 25 days of the Urban League, where each day we highlighted a different program that we do to make sure that people had the information, and then that it linked up to our website so that people could find out how they can become involved and how they can participate and support the organization. Okay, well, we're going to get into some of the programs, because I think when you always hear the mission and it's equalizing life's chances through education and employment, what does that mean from a tactical standpoint? Well, our Urban League here is 96 years old, and it's nationally 114 years old. And it was created to, in essence, create equality for the African American community throughout the entire country in major urban centers throughout America. And St. Louis obviously is one of those, and our goal has been to create equality for African Americans and other people of color, women, the LGBT community, and others who are oppressed, and poor whites, so that we can have an equal society. And we do that through advocacy, education, economic development, economic empowerment, and then making sure that people have opportunities, and then also social services so that they can get immediate needs help, like their gas and electric that are paid through our LIHEAP program and other different opportunities that we have. You have a very extensive background, and you've been very extensive, and you've been involved in a lot. And I was saying earlier before we started the show that, you know, I think your heart's always kind of been in social service and with civil rights. What do you see as your vision when you think about the next, 5 years, short term and long term? What do you really hope to accomplish? And I know that's hard to say. Starting off, it's just been 6 months, but what do you see ahead?
Well, ironically, we're in the middle of our strategic planning process for our 100th anniversary, and we're going to announce that on March the 10th at our annual dinner at the Renaissance Hotel that evening. And within the context of that, we have had community forums in St. Louis City, St. Louis County, East St. Louis, and St. Clair County to get input from the public, input from our staff, from our board, from stakeholders and the general population of St. Louis so that they can tell us what they would like to see us do. Our goal is to serve 100,000 people by the time we turn 100, to have 1,000 members, and to make sure that we serve the community in the needs that they have. One of the things that specifically has come up on a continuous basis is the fact that we need to do more job training and readiness and placement, as we have historically done as part of our mission to create self-sufficiency in the African American community and throughout the St. Louis region.
So one of your focuses is going to continue, and it already is, I feel,
Yes.
is jobs. You know, I wanted to ask you, because I heard the KWMU interview that you did and some comments on diversity, which I'm going to get into later in the show. But, you know, I feel entrepreneurship is a big thing here in St. Louis. It's kind of the trending stories right now. How do you feel the Urban League is helping with African American populations, or really with the community that it serves outside of a racial component, with starting their own businesses, being entrepreneurs, really taking advantage of already kind of the scene of what's going on here in St. Louis at the moment?
Well, we definitely need to do more when it comes to economic empowerment and working with different organizations in a partnership for a collective impact model that already work to provide opportunities for African Americans and others to create businesses and to sustain themselves economically in a self-sufficient manner. So as we look towards the future, we definitely want to expand those programs and be more collaborative with the Minority Supplier Diversity Council, with the regional chamber, and with others that are pushing to have more diverse populations in terms of business ownership.
Okay. We have some photos that I thought maybe we could walk through, because I was saying, and again, in preparation for this, I didn't realize that the affiliate here in St. Louis, it's the #1 ranked affiliate of the National Urban League and 4th largest affiliate of the National Urban League, and the most significant nonprofit in the entire region. So you guys are doing a lot. Let's go ahead and start taking a look at some of the photos that we have, and Mr. McMillan's going to tell us what they are.
Well, what you see there is the grand opening of the James H. Buford Community Center. Okay. In terms of our making sure that we continue our mission of providing a community outreach center to the residents of the city of St. Louis. There was a partnership that was done between Ameren, Centene, the city of St. Louis, and others to provide funding to renovate that facility and expand its services. We have a food pantry there, and we serve clients for LIHEAP and a number of other different programs, from job counseling to other different activities on a daily basis, serving thousands of people.
Okay, all right. Let's take a look at...
We do the 100 neediest cases in collaboration with a number of different entities. Our main sponsor is Citi, and they are very, very involved in making sure that different families that are low to moderate income that need assistance during the holidays make sure that they have a wonderful holiday season. And we're very grateful to them and all of our other partners that help with that every year.
Okay.
Yet again, this is some of the city volunteers that came out and have volunteered their time and effort, and they really go the extra mile in terms of providing resources for individual families, because we give them a detailed description of the ages of the children and what the families need, and then they go out and take care of them.
I think the next one we have is with the St. Louis Rams.
The Rams have been doing a turkey giveaway with us for almost 20 years, where the players themselves come out to all of the different outreach centers and then personally contribute funds to make sure that about 2,000 families have a turkey and a whole set of additional grocery items from Schnucks. And Schnucks, of course, has been a longtime partner of ours as well, and it's a great collaboration. Our Head Start program is something that we're very, very proud of, where we have 677 children that we work with on a daily basis between the ages of 3 and 5 to make sure that they have the educational advancement that they need at a very young age. Our young professionals are very, very dynamic young people who work very hard to give back to the community, make a difference, give of their time, talent, and treasure, and make sure that they are constantly out there giving back and helping inspire others to make a difference as well. Our young professionals, as you can see that particular day, came out en masse, and they are part of the Young Blacks Give Back program that we have, where they go and volunteer in the community to make a difference and help others and help different neighborhood organizations that need assistance that day.
I was curious, oh, we've got one more photo.
Our Federation of Block Units was formed in 1932, and it is an old organization that works very hard on neighborhood stabilization. Very proud of all of the different work that they do and looking to expand and recruit more people within the city and the county to be involved in terms of trying to help organize their communities on a very grassroots basis.
I was curious as you were going through the photos, I mean, from when the Urban League first started and now, I mean, I think there's one thing that has changed is there's a lot of nonprofits around. I mean, there's a lot. Do you feel that that's had any effect, maybe not in this Urban League in St. Louis, this affiliate, but even just nationally, where now it's not so much competing for dollars, but there's just so many more nonprofits out there that have divided up different sectors to address. Has that had any effect on the Urban League?
Well, there are many not-for-profits that have similar missions, and we consider them partners in terms of what we do to try to help our clients. And we're very proud of the fact that we're a United Way agency, and many of those organizations are as well. And we work together in the 211 system when people have needs, and we try to make sure that they get to the agency that can help them best. And luckily for us, we are one of those that serve 80,000 people a year. And we love to partner with different organizations so that people can get the most resources. So we look at it more as a collaborative than a competition.
And I guess I didn't realize either that really with each affiliate is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you can sort of cater what your mission is to a certain extent. If it's youth crime prevention, that might be a focus, or mortgage assistance. I mean, can that change over time? Is that something that's relatively fluid? Is that the understanding?
Well, the basic core mission of the Urban League is the same, and it is the same nationally, but of course there are different programs that fit different areas, whether it's a state program or it's a municipal program. But there are different affiliate programs that each one have. None of us have exactly the same portfolio of service.
So is it something too that down the road, if in 10 years you say St. Louis maybe needs more assistance, if you're looking at the African American community and say in this one area, that you have the ability to change that focus and to help develop programs for that? Is that
absolutely?
Okay. Well, I have more questions that I want to ask you, and we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna have more with President and CEO Michael McMillan next on City Corner.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
G-morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me. Are your parents home later? We can hang. LUV, love you. JK. Holla back, holla back, holla back. Are you with your friends? That's lame. We're in a huge fight right now. XO. What'd you dream about? Something I did? Are you on your way to the mall? I'm lonely. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
Experience St. Louis.
This financial advisor is being accused of committing one of the largest investment frauds in the history of the United States.
I guess we're not going to Aspen. That's fine. You see, I like tennis balls. He likes insider trading. So he's going to jail and I'm going to a shelter. And no, they're not the same thing. Shelters are for good pets that want to be adopted. Jails are for criminals. I've done nothing. Uh-oh. Ooh, okay, I stole a cheeseburger once. I'm a dog.
I'm Sarah Thompson, and welcome back to City Corner. I'm joined by President and CEO of the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis, Michael McMillan. Thanks again for being here. And we're going to continue our discussion. I know that one of your big sort of missions for the coming years is to really engage the community more. Talk a bit about that.
Well, we definitely want to engage the community in a very significant way. We want to increase our membership, as I stated earlier, to 1,000 people. And we want to make sure that individuals feel welcome to volunteer their time, to become donors to the Urban League, to support our organization in any way that they have the capacity to do so, because there's still so much need out in the community that we really do need individuals, along with companies, corporations, and the government, to try to fix all of the problems in our region.
Let's talk about, you launched something a few months ago, which was the Whitney M. Young Society. What exactly is that? How is that different from different membership levels or contributions that people have made in the past?
Well, Whitney Young was an iconic leader of the Urban League from 1961 through 71 at the height of the civil rights movement. And he was one of the big six civil rights leaders that worked with Dr. King on the creation of the modern society that we have now today, in terms of working to eradicate racism, classism, and help low to moderate income African Americans and people of every race to be in a more inviting society. And so as a result, we decided to name this society after him. And the society encourages individuals to give at a leadership level of between $500 and $5,000 a year to the Urban League to support our programs and our efforts to try to help those 80,000 people throughout the entire region.
I see. Each year, you know, the National Urban League does, Mark Morial does the, State of Black America, and presents a lot of issues that we're faced with. And I was just curious, from a personal standpoint, as well as from your leadership position, what do you see that is? I mean, in a compressed, obviously in condensed version, but when you look at this country today and you look at Black America, what comes to mind? How do you see it?
Well, obviously, tremendous progress has been made in the form of where the Black community has been and where it is today. And there is still work to be done in terms of trying to work on education in urban communities, unemployment in urban communities, trying to make sure that we have job readiness and preparedness so that our country as a whole will have the kind of competent, qualified, capable workforce to compete on a global level. And a lot of that talent can be found in inner cities, including St. Louis and our entire region. And so there's work to be done to try to assist those young people in all of society so that we can be the best kind of region that we can, the best nation that we can, as we compete in a more global economy. And I think it's a necessity in terms of how we look towards the future. Not only education and economic development, but of course trying to make sure that African Americans and all minorities and people of color are represented on every level. So not just employees, but managers, board members, and then vendors of companies and governments and the rest, so that we can have a more diverse society on every single level.
In terms of what you're speaking about, I pulled a quote from a St. Louis Beacon article that Mr. Buford did before he retired from his position, your predecessor. And I'm just going to read it to you because it really stood out to me. And I do think this, again, gets back to that sort of disconnect that we were talking about earlier. And the article says, he concedes that helping unschooled and unskilled Black men find their way into the mainstream will take some doing. He suggests that some setbacks facing these men are not due to racism, but are psychological and self-inflicted. Cases of Blacks who seem to have lost the will to rise above circumstances or have refused to walk through the doors of opportunity opened by previous generations. One big challenge, she says, is that many such men don't identify with services provided by traditional groups like the League. And so I guess, again, this kind of comes back to making our efforts relevant in the time that we live in, meaning we have to continue to do the things that we did in the past, but also adjusting to how things are. What do you, when you hear a statement like that, what comes to mind for you and what you'd like to do with the Urban League?
Well, I agree with that statement, and I think that going back to what you just said, we have to adjust with the times. So years ago, there wasn't an internet, and people weren't looking for social media, and there weren't those types of ways to communicate with people. But now some of the people that we deal with and some of our clients only wish to communicate that way. So we have to go and try to meet our clients where they are and meet our community where it is and engage them on the levels that they wish to be engaged in and try to adjust with the times. And that's one of the major things that is coming out of our strategic planning input that is coming back from the community and from the staff and our board as well.
I thought, I heard the interview you did on KWMU on St. Louis on the Air, which was talking about basically the outlook for 2014. And I, again, pulled this quote because I thought it was really poignant. And I thought it was a good point that you made, especially in the broader discussion of everything. And it was talking about diversity. And you said, I think the reason why it has been difficult to get past the black and white portion of the conversation is because it's not an automatic that we have African Americans included in the process in all levels of government and civil life. And until we do that, it will be difficult to have that conversation as full as it can be. You're a St. Louisan, born and raised here. You've worked in City Hall. I mean, you've business side, everything. What is it? Why can we not get past this issue here in St. Louis? I mean, how do we make diversity more inclusive?
Well, obviously, there have been historic elements of racism and current elements of racism, number one. But beyond that, I think a lot of times people deal with who they are familiar with, who they know, who they are most comfortable with. And it doesn't even occur to them that they should be placing diversity as a major goal or initiative of their company or the government or whatever entity that they actually have some influence over. So that's why you have boards of directors that have no women and have no minorities, and you have management teams of large companies that only have a handful of women or minorities, because people have a tendency to deal with who they are most comfortable with, who they know, who they went to school with, who they go to church with. And we have to constantly push to have diversity at the forefront of everyone's conversation as we look towards moving forward as a region, because if you look at the most successful cities in the United States, they are the most diverse cities in the United States, where everyone has a place at the table, and it isn't an issue that has to constantly be brought up in terms of African American or other people of color participating in the workforce, participating in management, participating as vendors of different companies and governments, and participating on boards of directors that actually make the decisions that govern all of these different entities.
And do you think, I mean, the Urban League sort of has had this historical reputation as bringing, and to its credit really, sort of the power, the big companies, the power, even power in Washington to help address this. I mean, do you see that as a unique sort of marker of the Urban League as compared to other organizations?
Well, the Urban League has been the place that America has gone to over the past century to actually take the conversation about equality and make it a reality. So when President Kennedy or President Johnson or any of the presidents in the past 100 years look to an agency to try to take the conversation about having equal access in society, they have looked to the Urban League to try to assist the government in getting those programs done. So that has been our unique role, where we bring together the African American community and the business community and the government to try to solve these problems. It's our current role, and it will be our role in the future, and we have to do an even better job of what we do in our collaboration with the business and the government sectors of our society to make sure that our work continues to be relevant and that we do a good job for our clients and then for the broader community as a whole.
And I think a good portion of that, too, is actually, and I hate to say it this way so plainly, but who's also on your board. I think when you look, again, at the affiliates as well as from a national standpoint, I mean, you have to have board members that care about the initiatives and the mission, but that are engaged and, frankly, connected. I mean, how is it, not is it difficult, but how is it to manage it from that standpoint as a president?
Well, we have a very large board of about 60 to 65 members on any given day in terms of how we proceed throughout the course of the year in terms of the number of board members that we have. And we're very fortunate to have the major civic progress companies and many other companies and educational institutions, and then members of the civic community involved in our board to fix those problems and to come up with solutions and programs and initiatives to try to address what we've been talking about today and the mission of the Urban League. So we are uniquely positioned in that way, and we will be as we go forward, but it's a constant push to bring all of these people together for a collective goal.
Absolutely. No, I can imagine it's a challenge. I'm not in your position, but I can imagine it's a challenge. Before we wrap up, I mean, I was thinking about, I jotted down notes of kind of some of the issues, the hot button topics, and it's unemployment and the school transfer program, urban education, Voting Rights Act, the widening wealth gap and income inequality. I mean, of all these, the school to prison pipeline was another one. I mean, when you think of this, and even here in St. Louis with the reputation that continues to come up about the violence in St. Louis, what stands out to you as sort of they're all major issues that need to be addressed, but specifically here in St. Louis that are critical that we need to look at?
Well, actually, every issue that you mentioned is extremely critical. Because, of course, if a person does not have a quality education, their chances for success in life are greatly diminished. And if a person lives in a neighborhood that is not safe, they, quite frankly, will wish to leave that neighborhood, and then you will see large tracts of land with abandoned homes, derelict properties, vacant lots, and then the entire community suffers as a result. So they're all connected. And when you talk about economic opportunity and jobs, if a person does not have a job and is not able to take care of themselves in a legal manner, then chances are they are going to take care of themselves somehow, and that will probably end up being some type of illegal activity, which will have a negative impact on everyone in the community, and ultimately we all pay the price. So the problem that we have to face as a society is, are we ready to pay for education or incarceration? Are we ready to pay for job training and readiness, or are we ready to pay for social services to take care of those in our society that don't have the assistance? So we have to constantly prioritize and push those things from a government and civic standpoint, which is what the Urban League does.
Is there anything else, I mean, as we wrap things up, is there anything else that you'd like to add? I mean, it's kind of 6 months in and many, many more years to come, but is there anything else you wanted to add about upcoming, whether it's events or programs or something we should look forward to? Obviously, your 5-year plan is coming up, your strategic plan, so tell us about it.
I would love to come back and talk about our strategic plan and the results that we got from the community and how we look to work in a collaborative manner with other entities to get the word out about how we can be a better region and how we can work together in a more collective impact model, and that we can do collaborations with other entities. And I also want to say thank you very much, not only for having us, but all the work that you do here with STL TV and all of the hard work that everyone here does to try to get out positive images here in the city of St. Louis about all the great things that are happening here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, we've got some information for you on our screen. That's the website and address and phone number for the Urban League. We're going to throw that up as we wrap things up. If you want to learn more about the programs, the auxiliaries, how to be a member, really everything that that they do, their information's right there, the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis, empowering communities and changing lives, ulstl.com, and you can call the phone number as well. And thanks again. Thank you. And thank you for the kind statements. And I do look forward. We'll have to have you back and to talk about more, because I know there's so much that you do and we didn't even cover a huge portion of it. But thank you again for being here.
Thank you very much.
All right. And thank you at home for watching City Corner and for keeping it right here on STL TV. Experience St. Louis.